Hello guys, I'm going to be going over my NFL position rankings, my top 10 for each position. This is following the 2022 season. I'm taking this season into account, but also I'm just going overall in my mind, not just because of the season. But that's taken into a question, but I am working on a video, my mock draft. I'm going to be watching film on my top 38 players in the class. So it's going to be a longer video to make. Probably 30 hours is going to be put into it because I have to watch a bunch of film on a bunch of players. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys would show some support on that video and this video, because I've worked pretty hard on these videos lately and it's been hard to upload consistently. My top quarterbacks, I have Patrick Mahomes at 1. I got Rodgers at 2. He's just so good. I think you could put Rodgers at 1 and Mahomes at 2. It's pretty interchangeable. They're both pretty good quarterbacks. Tom Brady at 3. I mean, he's just been outstanding his entire career, and he's proven that he is still a very good quarterback and is competent to play well. Josh Allen at 4. I just like Josh Allen as a passer. I mean, he obviously could work on his decision making. His decision making isn't great, but he hasn't had a lot of good head coaches and stuff like that, which I guess he could use as an excuse. But I just think Josh Allen's top 5 in my mind. Kyler Murray at 5. I mean, he was my number 2 coming into this season, and he really just let up a stinker of a year. I mean, he got hurt, hasn't really performed the way he should for these past couple of weeks, and he slid all the way to 5. I mean, he's still probably my favorite quarterback in the league. It's pretty cool to just be able to watch. He's just a great quarterback. Justin Herbert at 6. That is because of none other than Herbert himself. He's just played outstanding. He played his heart out against the Raiders to try and make the playoffs. But, Brandon Staley took a last-second timeout, and the Raiders apparently were gonna let the clock run and tie. But he allowed them to kick a field goal. So, just bad by Staley. Burrow at 7. I mean, I just think Herbert's slightly better than Burrow. And Burrow has started to become overrated rather than underrated. He's had good games, but he really needs to refine his, ability to get out of the pocket and deliver some nice on-the-run throws, besides just being a pocket passer, even though that is his archetype. Lamar Jackson is at 8. I think you could change Herbert, Burrow, and Jackson any way. I just think they're all very interchangeable in this position. But Lamar has sort of been figured out, kind of, but he's gotten hurt for most of the year, and he's more of a running quarterback, like Kyler, but I just think Kyler is more of a preferred passer than Lamar is, so that's why he's 3 spots higher. But Lamar, he has no weapons, so that's an excuse you could make. I mean, I think Bateman's a very good weapon, but, you obviously have to have some other guys, so I think Lamar could actually climb into my top 3 by the end of next year if they actually get him a decent weapon. Dak Prescott at 9. He's just a very good quarterback, and I would really like the Vikings to trade for him because the Vikings are my favorite team, but he's just very good, and I'd really hope that people don't underrate him outside of their top 10. He gets out of the pocket. He can scramble if you really need him to. So yeah, that's why he's at 9. Kirk Cousins at 10. I think he is a very good quarterback. There's apparently talks about him getting traded, which I would not like as a Vikings fan. I'd really hate that. And I just think he's a really good quarterback. I think he was limited by Coach Zimmer and GM Spielman because they didn't want to, give him that much of protection for some stupid reason. Now moving on to running backs. At 1, I got Nick Chubb. He's a very good running back. He looks for contact, unlike other running backs who try to avoid it. Dalvin Cook at 2. He is just the best running back in the league when he's healthy. He finds holes, uses that breakaway speed, and kills the defense. He is very good, and that's why I think he should be at 2. Derrick Henry, you cannot tackle this man. The top three is very interchangeable in my mind. Derrick Henry is just a monster. He will run you over before you even get a chance to look at the man. Austin Eckler, very good pass catcher, very good runner. I don't know how many touchdowns he has, but last time I checked, he had 18 before the Raiders and Chargers game. And he is a very good running back. He gets open all the time in the receiving game, has a lot of receiving yardage, and he's a very good actual rusher. He has that breakaway speed, the juke ability, the even power back ability to get through guys. Joe Mixon, he is my perfect running back. If I'm the Bengals, I'm keeping that man as long as I can. Even though he's injury prone, he is amazing when he is healthy. And he needs an O-line, and he's still a top 5 running back. You see, Cook and Mixon up here don't have an offensive line, really. And they're still amazing running backs. That just shows that those guys could be the top 2 next year if they actually get a line. Jonathan Taylor at 6. I mean, he's proved to be a workhorse back this year. Some people are putting him in the top 3. I just don't think you can overrate him anymore. He just needs to stay very consistent. And I want to see that over a course of multiple years before I put him at my number 1. Christian McCaffrey at 7. He just can't stay healthy. And when he is healthy, he is the best back in the league. Or Cook. You can interchange those guys. But I just think McCaffrey really needs to step it up. There's talks about him getting traded too, so I kind of hope that happens. I'd like to see him go to Detroit. Because if Detroit actually gets a really good running back, besides Swift, because they could trade Swift there, even though I guess that's not really a good idea, but I guess Texans don't really have a running back. Saquon is at my 8. He is still a very good running back. He had to deal with an atrocious line this year in New York. And I think he's going to get traded too. I think he's going to get traded, oddly enough, to the Patriots. And I think the Patriots would give up Damian Harris in the process, because if you get a guy like Barkley that could be a consistent running back, and I guess they don't like paying big money to running backs, but still, he's still a very good player. And I'd be very excited to see him end up somewhere different than New York. Alvin Kamara at 9. He's fallen on my list because there's just so many good running backs in this league. I think Kamara is the best receiving back in the league. Pair that with Aaron Jones at number 10, who is very good at receiving too, but he's kind of taken his role by A.J. Dillon. And he could be outside of my top 10 by the mid-season next year if they don't give him more carries. Wide receivers. I got Jefferson at 1, Vontae at 2. Jefferson has just proved that he is one of the best receivers in the league. It's him and Vontae. That's the only discussion for 1 and 2. Hopkins at 3. One healthy, possibly the best receiver in the league. He's fallen. He was my number 1 at the beginning of this year, but he's just been hurt, so he's fallen to 3. Diggs. He's an amazing route runner, so that's why I have him at 4. Cooper Kupp at 5. I kind of have overreacted to this season. If you get so many targets, you get so many yards and so many catches. That's just how this league is. Tyreek Hill at 6. He really just isn't amazing. He's just speed. But sometimes that gets the job done. Keenan Allen, a very profound route runner. Very good. Deebo Samuel in my number 8 position, because he's also a running back at this point. It's like that meme. Oh, what position do I play? Linebacker, safety, quarterback, running back, wide receiver. It's a pretty funny meme. You should probably check that out. Terry McLaurin at number 9. He just hasn't had a good quarterback, so I can't really judge him off of that. But then there's Mike Evans, who's had, I think it's 8 or 7 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. That is amazing for a receiver to do. Now on to tight ends. This is the last section here. I got Mark Andrews at 1. Sort of overreacted to his campaign this season, but he's just played so well, made some miraculous catches. Kelsey, Kittle, Waller. I think you can pretty much interchange the top 4 here. No matter who you are, the AFC has a superior tight ends, besides maybe Kittle. If you have him at 1, obviously I think he's superior, but The top 4 tight ends are interchangeable. I think you could take Waller out of the conversation, but they're just all very good tight ends. Because Kelsey at 2, Kittle at 3, Waller at 4. They're just all very good. Hawkinson is at my 5. Hawkinson has played well with very mediocre quarterback play. And he's like the only receiving threat in Detroit besides Amon St. Brown and Khalif Raymond. Kyle Pitts at 6. He had 1,000 yards receiving as a rookie. He's so good, he can't even play receiver. Mike Gesicki at 7. He's had an outstanding campaign this season, and I'd really like to see him continue that next season. Noah Fant at 8. Fant, when healthy, I think, if the Broncos can use him properly with a new head coach, because Vic Fangio has been fired. With a new head coach, I think Noah Fant could even sneak into the top 5. Dallas Goedert at 9. He earned himself a big contract extension with the Eagles, and I'd really like to see him perform better. Hunter Henry didn't drop a pass this year, I believe. Now, that is amazing in and of itself, and it's amazing that he's a top 10 tight end, as he was just a free agent acquisition. So was Jonnu Smith by the Patriots. Patriots are the best big money spenders in the league. Alright, guys, that is it for this video. Maybe you like, maybe you subscribe. That'd be really nice of you. But, we'll see you next time. Have a good day.